This past week, I had the opportunity to return to the Marriott in Burbank, California for Afro Animation Summit 4.0. And it was low-key better than last year was for me. One of the biggest questions I had going into the summit this year was, what is the current state of the animation industry?
The industry is in a really weird place right now. And what that means to me is that we're on the verge of like a phoenix uprising. If something new, something exciting is gonna happen, it will involve AI probably. But that means that you need to be thinking about what's next and not chasing after something else that's like been done 100 times over, or trying to copy that person's art, that person's whatever. Think about like, where are we gonna grow from here? Because the industry is pretty broken right now. And I know a lot of people feel that.
I added those captions so that you could read what Chris was saying if you couldn't understand it. I got to the summit a little late on the first day due to LA traffic, so I sat in the back at first, and I was too far away from the speakers to pick up good sound through my DJI mics. So I ran this clip through Adobe Enhance and Post in an attempt to fix the audio, and it's not perfect, but listen to how messed up it was to begin with.
The industry is in a really weird place right now.
So I turned up the volume a bit on this one, and you can hear there is a lot of extra noise from the clip from the room. What the AI did is nowhere near perfect, as it distorted his voice and made him sound off, and I couldn't even decipher certain words. But it singled it out, and it brought those frequencies to the front and got rid of the extra noise. This is a perfect example of where we're going tech-wise, whether we like it or not. AI is a tool that will improve with time, much like Photoshop and Procreate, which allows us to do things digitally that we couldn't do at all or quickly and easily with paper and pencil. He mentions the industry is in a weird space right now, and that means that something new and exciting will happen soon and most likely will involve AI. Another interesting thing that he mentioned was thinking about what's next and not focusing on what's already been done. Think about where we are going to grow from here. It honestly appears that we are in a special pocket of time where the latest trends in storytelling and character development and animation is up to me and you.
One really stands out. We're willing to all right, we'll teach you on the job. We'll help you figure it out. Because people want to do it, but demonstrating something special, we don't see it as much as you might think we do.
And you guys are the digital generation, so keep creating, keep posting. You've got YouTube, you've got Insta. Just keep it moving, and to your point, you never know, you might end up in the next Spiderverse film.
One of this year's highlights for me was a panel for The Spider Within, Spiderverse story. We had a chance to see a screening of the short as well as hear from the writer.
Hi, thank you all for coming. My name is Karen Elder. I'm the writer of the short.
The director, Jarrell Dampier, and the producer, David Schulenberg. I was doing some digging online on whether or not AI technology was used on the first Spiderverse film when I came across this post on Twitter.
Form lines describe the shape of something. I think like a nose. The effects team did this amazing thing where we had the character designer make a library of drawings. That was something we could make rules for. This is the way that nose would look from this head angle to camera. And we made a whole bunch of poses that defined that. And the effects team would recreate those in 3D space with those rules of head angle to camera, and then let the machine learning program try and guess where those drawings would go. And a person would correct it every time it was wrong, making it therefore another rule. And little by little, we're teaching the computer to make drawings that we find redundant.
I think it's important to note that if you are looking to get into the animation industry, you don't let all of this machine learning and artificial intelligence convince you that you can simply skip out on the basics of learning how to draw, how to animate, write engaging stories, design characters, storyboard, or whatever it is that you want to do in the industry. The only way to truly be innovative and keep the art alive and relatable to a human audience is to learn and thoroughly understand the foundation of what we strive to build upon. At this stage in artificial intelligence, humans are training the AI on the jobs that humans do currently to save time and money. It's important that we use the tool, but never become the tool. We live in a time where many lack patience. There are so many things at our fingertips. There will always be someone who presents this journey in an abbreviated or easy way, but that shouldn't stop you from doing things the right way. It's your journey. Only you can decide how great it will be in the end.
Justin and I, we're constantly going like, yo, this is the NFL, man. Like, it is. When you're talking about a studio like Dreamworks, and you hear people saying this stuff passively all the time, like the talent and the I'm telling you guys, the people at this studio, the talent level, it is ridiculous on every level. Texture, modelers, animators, story artists, designers, producers, the talent level and the commitment. And so there's also something that is active, which is your commitment to the craft and your commitment to the assignment. There is this element of, as much that we have to navigate, man, you better love the hell out of this thing that you're doing, because of the layers that you have to navigate as a person of color or an other, because of those layers that you have to navigate. If you are not committed to that craft and ready to get back to the desk, you will die a silent death in that spot. Because there are times where, man, this dude, and I mean, Justin and I have been at Dreamworks now for 4.5, almost 5 years. And there's nothing posted online about it. We're still there doing stuff because there's this commitment to the craft. We're executing at a psychotically high level, because after all of the layers of, not everyone in that room looks like me, especially the money holders that have to approve the thing for the course. I have to be able to go back to my desk and go, Lyfe, I got to show these dudes something so dope they just can't say no to.
But then also, as a Black person, I think that there's a fear that you won't be accepted and just think they know it, but you shouldn't be here and doing. They're going to kick you out. So you got to be careful, you know. But in reality, we felt like that film and TV, I think all of us, we haven't touched the surface of what we are on TV. And then who we are changes every day.
Just take this tidbit that transition takes courage, and we got middle school, we got, I don't know, high school, college, wherever you are in the internet, you know, every next level is going to take you to be courageous. For the people who are not sure, like, if you're first entering the industry, if you're not sure what you want to do yet, like, you know, I was listening to a talk from Corey Tispiti, who's the showrunner of Insecure, and he advised people who are entering the industry to take every opportunity based off of its growth potential.
Over the course of 3 days, there were so many amazing panels filled with dope creatives who worked on shows that I'm a huge fan of. But unfortunately, the mics that I bought turned out to be some straight up haters. Hater alert. And only picked up sound for some of the clips that I recorded. I had an amazing interview with Rio Cyrus, co-chair and head of programming, and all I got back for the replay is a bunch of white noise. So I'll definitely be returning those. On a brighter note, one of the things that I love most about Afro Animation Summit 4.0 was, despite how challenging the animation industry is, especially at the current time, is how so many of the creators I met were taking their careers into their own hands, creating their own projects, their own companies, building alliances, and helping each other out however they could. This might even be the most supportive community that I've been a part of in the entertainment industry thus far. It was good to link back up with one of the homies that I actually just met last year, and after the summit, he made himself available to model for my limited edition brand, Brilliance Limited, at the Afro Comic-Con show in the Bay. He's working on an amazing project himself, so I asked him to speak more about it.
My name's Phillip. I'm a writer and currently directing animated short film right now. It's a part of the Pixar co-op program. And yeah, right now we're down here just building community with more people, trying to find people to bring onto the project and just learning more about animation as a craft. I found out about the co-op program through one of my friends, Theo Hollingsworth, who is a production manager at Pixar. We were working together on the short already, and since he works at Pixar, he's a producer. He applied for the co-op program and got accepted. So we started working on this project, the one I'm working on, a little over a year ago, but really we didn't get started until Afro Animation last year, because we met a bunch of different artists in different disciplines, like storyboard artists, visual development artists, concept artists, and that kind of kick-started the project. And in the past year, with the connections we made at Afro last year, we were able to storyboard the whole film and really put ourselves in a position to be ready for production. So Afro Animation was huge for us last year, and this year, kind of more of the same. We're still just building connections. I mean, time will tell, like, who joins the project, since we're still at Afro right now. I think it's a great event to be able to build, to network easily, not network in the way where it feels like you're doing a job, but more just like naturally meeting people and building genuine connections.
Jiren Merchant was another impressive creator that I met this year at the summit. Every time I seen her, she was either working on her laptop, networking, or connecting others.
My name is Jiren Merchant, but everybody calls me Jay. I am your friendly neighborhood illustrator animator. I have a company called Black Paper Party. There are 3 founders, myself, Jiren Merchant, Malia Willis, and Jasmine Hudson. And with our powers combined, we create representation and a gift wrapping space for Black and brown families. We are 3 years old. We started in 2020. Last year, we were on the holiday episode of Shark Tank, and we got a deal. We got a deal with Barbara Corcoran. So we've been trying to working through that and moving ahead. You can find us anywhere on all socials at Black Paper Party, or you can visit our website, blackpaperparty.com, and check out, we have everything from gift wrap to stockings, ornaments. We also have a Black History Month collection we've launched, as well as print-on-demand services as well, so you can get swag, t-shirts, sweaters, all of that. We are here. We have a variety of Black creatives in the space, and it's amazing that they've created this opportunity for all of us to come together and connect, and just the importance of us connecting and sharing our skills with each other is monumental. It feels so good to be able to connect with other creatives that look like me, that understand the field that we work in. We can sit down and troubleshoot ideas and just kind of talk through how we see our vision moving forward and give each other feedback. And it's just been great all around, just to see everyone interacting as well as interacting with others myself.
While taking in information and knowledge from the panels, I couldn't help but notice Lisa Miranda, helping keep everything organized and on point with the panelists. So I approached her to find out more about what she does in the animation space.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Lisa Miranda. I'm one of the co-creators of Afro Animation 4.0. I am a writer, a commercial director, a creative director, a voiceover actor, an actress, and more. I do a lot of things, but I think art encompasses so much, so it's just art. I'm an artist. And the event has been fantastic. There's so many people who are just brimming with positivity and talent and love, and being in this one space together with all this passion, I know so many great opportunities are going to come out of it, and I'm excited for people to get work, to get inspiration, to get their projects seen, and I'm here to cheer everybody on. But you can go to my Instagram, Miranda_acts, ACCS, and you can see some of my directing work. I actually have a commercial I just directed in Greece that's probably going to be already out by the time you go to my social. I just did it for Tadashi Shoji, a dress company in LA. I have a documentary in post-production about a samba carnival in West Africa that will be coming out to the film festival circuit this year. And lots of amazing things coming up, so stay tuned. I appreciate y'all. I can't wait to see y'all.
One of the most helpful and interesting creatives I think that I met this time around has to be my guy Dre, who I met through Eric. His story was so compelling that I asked him to share it with us.
Okay, so basically, I didn't know anything about. I love movies, always loved movies, you know what I'm saying, cartoons, all of it. I've been an artist all my life, ever since I was 2. My brother put a pencil in my hand, but I didn't think this is something I could do professionally. So growing up, you get into some things, you know what I mean? I ended up incarcerated, and I went to the one prison that actually had a drafting program, drafting tables, the whole 9. The teacher in there, his name is Mr. Cash. Shout out Mr. Castellon. He's a person that's changing lives. He saw my talent, and he took me into this computer room, and I just asked, "What is this?" And he said, "It's CG." I didn't know what any of this stuff meant. I had no idea. He told me it's computer graphics. This is how special effects are made in films. I thought that was a whole bunch of garbage. I'm thinking he's just gassing me. He was like, nah. He brought in magazines. He brought in movies that talked about this world, and he said, if you apply yourself, you can make something of this. And once I paroled, I really didn't think it was gonna happen for me like that, so I went and got a job. And out of the blue, I got a brochure to an art school. I didn't even know art schools existed like that. I wanted to go to art school, and then after the art school, my demo room wasn't really there. And so I said, hey, you gotta get a job, Lo and behold, a job that I applied for in the facilities department at PDI Dreamworks in the Bay Area, Redwood City. Shout out to Drew Sherwood, he was the manager. He called me on a Friday, and I was supposed to start my job at Home Depot that following Monday. So I called Home Depot and said, I'm sorry, Destiny's calling. I got to do my thing. And the boss at Home Depot, he understood that. And he was like, man, go follow your dreams, man. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? And it started there. And years later, I'm still lucky enough to be doing this professionally. An animated film is separated into 2 major components, right? I would say 3. You got sound, of course, right? And then you have characters and you have environments. So everything that's environments, from buildings to cars to the forks, knives, and spoons on the table everything. We create everything. So we take artwork that a talented artist like Tree would make, we would take that art and we would turn it into 3D assets using Maya, ZBrush, 3D Studio Max, whatever program you want to use. And all that creates all these rich environments that you see in these films. A good example would be Lightyear. Those complicated ships that you see in Lightyear and all of the scenery on the alien world that they crash down on, that's all models. All that's models, and that's what I do in the sets department as a technical director. I'm currently at Pixar. Give a shout out to Pixar that they help artists do what's called carve-outs. So working at Pixar, if you come up with something that's totally yours and original, they will actually do the paperwork for you to carve it out and get it outside of ownership of like Disney, that's like one of the dopest things that Pixar does. That they do that for you, for free. You know what I mean? If you work there. If you want to reach me, my Instagram is It's That Brother Dre. So you can go all one word. You can go find me there, and you can email me. And really, I want to support you just as much as I need your support. So even if you getting at me, because you might need some help, still get at me. Don't think you got to come over here and it's got to be a one-on-one exchange right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, cats will do an interview like this and say, okay, yeah, how can I call people to me? Well, you can call me to you as well. So you can get at me on Instagram, but if you ain't got nothing to offer me, I got a whole lot of game to offer you. Right. So we can make it about you first. It ain't gotta be about me first.
This is a different breed right here.
You goddamn right.
Man, you come from a different club.
Let me tell you, I'm gonna say it like this. My community is before everything for me. So that's and whoever got an issue with that don't need to talk to me.
Hey, that's it. We can end it with that.
That's it.
And true to Dre's word in this nature, he walked us over to the bar at the Marriott Hotel after the interview and actually introduced me to another super talented brother who is actually from my hometown city.
I'm Vincent Rhodes from Detroit, Michigan. I'm a story artist, director, writer, and animation. A few movies that I worked on came out. One was They Cloned Tyrone, Netflix movie with Jamie Foxx, John Boyega, Tiana Paris. Black exploitation, science fiction. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really fun. So I got a chance to do storyboards on that. A movie I worked on early called Nimona came out on Netflix. Incredible movie that ended up being very beautiful. A movie I directed last year called Pacemaker. If you want to see an emotional short, a wonderful, we got an Annie nomination last year, or this year rather, and it's on Pacemaker Musical at YouTube. So if you go to @Pacemaker Musical, like the Heart Pacemaker, you'll find it. We put it out there for free. So check that out when you get a chance. There's a lot of difference in the sense that how you use them is different. So live action, you're relying a lot on the actors to make their own decisions, right? When you cast in a live action movie, what you're trying to do is just frame the storytelling as a storyboard artist, but knowing that the actor is gonna have their own ideas and do things the way they want to do it. So you're not really adding how they would perform in the storyboards. You're just setting them up, setting the story up, maybe a little bit of like if it's an action sequence, the choreography of those things. Those are things you put in the board. But in animation, right, you have to become the actor. You're literally performing the character. So you are the actor as an animated storyboard artist. So you have to think about how that character is going to respond, pose. So it's a lot more intimate process. So you're really going through each pose, like, hey, how they feel. That's your responsibility as a storyboard artist in animation. It's a lot more intensive, obviously heavy in animation than it is in live action. But live action is fun in a different way. A live action storyboard also, you got to have the visual effects department, the DP. You have to sort of draw a little bit more cinematically and making sure that different departments are going to use those boards for different reasons, to understand costume, to understand what's going on in this scene. So it's a tool for a lot of people in live action, where in animation, it's the movie. So the iPad is always going to be a great tool for drawing. I do a lot of commercial boards that way. I do live action boards that way. When it comes to animation, just the speed of it, the pace of it, it becomes more resourceful to use like different tools that they have. So I use Storyboard Pro. Storyboard Pro is made by a company called Toon Boom. Super helpful in drawing storyboards. A lot of people use Photoshop. That's always going to be a classic. There's some others that people use. TV Paint. Some people still use what we used to be called Flash, and now is Adobe Animate, and so it varies for what people use. But I use Storyboard Pro. It's focused for storyboarding specifically, a lot in animation. So I think for me, what I would say is just be really focused on your craft, you know, because everything that happens is a byproduct of your craft. So like, if you're really focused on being great in your craft, eventually you're gonna meet the right people, your stuff is gonna be seen in the right way. I mean, the way we have so many channels of sharing your work that it's really hard to not go notice if you're doing really incredible stuff. And so there's no like shortcuts to that. It's just getting in there, doing your life drawing, studying your anatomy, studying shot design. You know, there's wonderful programs out now like Shot Deck that are live action reference tools to really see cinematography, study classic storytelling. Like I still watch Hitchcock movies and see how they framed and how what's the emotional journey of the character. You know, the big things you want to ask in storyboarding is, what is this scene supposed to accomplish? What does the character want in that scene? And you basically are trying to tell that emotional story through the shots that you choose and the performance. So studying story is super important. You're keeping your drawing skills at a good place. And storyboarding is not necessarily about how well you can draw, it's about how clear you can draw. And that's a big distinction, because I think a lot of times when people start, they think it's about how pretty you can draw and how well you can draw. And I'd say that's a part of it as you evolve as an artist. But you're looking, when you watch a Disney art book or these artists that have been around for a while, their style is unique and distinct, but they're just trying to tell the quickest, clearest idea. And when you do storyboards, a big thing, I don't want to get into a storyboard class real quick on your show, but one idea per frame, remember that. One idea per frame. Not 2 ideas, 3 ideas, you know, keep your storyboards focused. And I think the storytelling will help you to move forward and get more opportunities. So that clarity, you know, 1 idea per frame, what's the scene supposed to accomplish, and what does the character want? I appreciate that tremendously, man. My name is Brian Vincent Rhodes, at Brian Vincent Rhodes, BrianVincent. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram. I mean, me, I'm not looking I'm looking to, I appreciate it, because I'm always like asking that same question, how can I support other people? But I think it's cool. I think just go there and shoot me a question or whatever, a dialogue, and yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. But yeah, I love that. And your work is great, man. I really love it. It's really beautiful.
All right, Brian Loki gave us a short masterclass on storyboarding, which inspired an idea I'm thinking of producing for the channel. While I link up with professional creatives in the industry, such as Brian, for a one-on-one in the studio to focus on subjects like storyboarding, 3D rendering, sketching, illustration, sound design, script writing, music, and all the aspects of creating an animated film. Leave a comment below if you'd like to see something like that on this channel in the near future. I ran into one of my favorite people next that I met at the summit last year, Miss Ashley Thomas, to catch up on what she's been working on and find out how this year's summit compared to last year's summit in her opinion.
What up? What am I working on now? So I'm in a co-op, and I am the 3D layout artist for them, and the co-op, because you've been talking to folks, is called The Other Side. And Eric, who's over there, I think you interviewed him earlier, he's the director. And we actually met last year here. Pretty good. And then I'm also working on my own stuff, because I'm a creative. I can't just do one thing. So I would say last year, I think there was more folks. But I think it was also because it was the first in-person Afro Animation Summit. This year, it's a little quieter, but I actually kind of like it that way, because now we actually get time to talk to people and like get to know folks a little bit more, instead of being like, oh my God, there's so many people, I can't hear you, what's up? Oh hi. But it's nice to be able to just sit with folks and just really get to know somebody. I feel like I love the panelists this year too. They were good. They had some good panels. But I would say in general, like, I still am happy with it, and it's still growing. Like, I feel like with each, because I've been to CTN, and that's a bigger convention. It's the Creative Talent Network Expo. It's also here in Burbank. It's bigger, and so it's a lot of people. So you don't get to have these one-on-ones with, I don't know, like directors that you actually like, or you just met this person and you're like, oh, you do what now? Didn't know that. You don't get those interactions as much when you're in a bigger convention. Because this is still growing, you're able to really make those connections, I think, now, and then you get to see it grow. I love seeing growth. And so for me, I'm loving this. We're getting new people in, and then it's just lovely to be around folks of color who are also creatives and nerds. Like, come on. And what you're missing out on is community. You're literally missing community right now. Like, the community here is insane. I mean, like, we met. It's a beautiful community. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, I got to model with you for your brand. Like, come on. I mean, and there's just so many opportunities and people who are eager to help one another. It's insane, and it's genuine. And let's be real, like, we need that.
I said.
As folks of color, we need that. Like, we do not see us enough doing these kind of things, and that needs to change. I guess just stay authentic, ask questions. I mean, check in. Check-ins are great. How you doing? How's it going?
And I couldn't agree more, Ash. My brother Justin Polly, another talented storyboard artist, was also outside. So I wanted to find out the role that he was playing in the other side, as well as his thoughts on the Afro Animation Summit's role in his career thus far.
I'm Justin Polly. I am primarily a storyboard artist / character designer, and just recently an art director on a Pixar co-op short called The Other Side. It's like when you have a movie and then there's a sequel to that movie, and the sequel is actually good. That's how 2024 was compared to 2023. It's a sequel to last year, and it's actually dope. Meeting all these dope individuals, re-meeting all the dope individuals in person. What are you?
Oh, that's okay.
And just continuing to progress that dope, positive energy. It's literally how it happened. I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't meet these folks here. So shout out to the Afro Animation actually being a hub, like truly, like a hub that creates growth. Well, we just launched an Instagram, which I can give you that information. It's called The Other Side. Just, anytime there's a new project, there's going to be kind of the rollout, right? So Instagram posts, Kickstarters, so on and so forth. Just people talking about it, having conversations about it, just simply just keeping an eye out for us, man.
We'll definitely be keeping an eye out for you, The Other Side, and any upcoming projects that you might have going on. One perspective I haven't heard much from is voice acting. But after speaking to Justin, a brother from the UK actually called me over to speak on exactly that.
My name is Taz / Tez Monroe. I'm a UK rapper, artist, voiceover artist, and music supervisor. How the industry works, really knowing how the industry, because as a voiceover artist, I'm just coming in, hey, give me a voiceover. No, there's things that you have to go through, there's casting directors, it's a lot before you get an animation voice, and just knowing the chain of command and how it works. That's the biggest thing, as well as knowledge of the hard work that's put in. But my whole dream is to be in a program that goes on. You know, like The Simpsons, Good Times, that's what I want. So that's why I'm here. It's good for me to be here. Networking is amazing. I think as a networker, you have to just go to people and say what you do and just be honest and be confident. You have to come out, network. Your network is your net worth. You have to come out, meet the people, be gracious, let them know who you are, be confident in who you are, and but don't be too cocky. Listen, make these ears listen as well, because some people just like to talk. And listen to other people's point of view and share it all, And that's the way to win. That's the way to move. Get more funding. No, help support me. Make more of our brothers and sisters be in stronger places. Build these big programs like the Netflix, like the, build more companies like that. And that will help me in turn. We need more support, and we need to support each other financially. I feel like we need a pot. But not a pot where it's a small pot, a big pot where it can maneuver. TAZ.
There's a lot of life that's provided to animation through the art of voice acting.
We could just do a little research and look it up. I don't know, pick up a book.
Another major role in animation is visual effects and 3D animation, which brings us to some amazing brothers who also specialize in that space.
Hey, I'm Kwame Bracco, aka Dark Mist, visual effects 3D animator and director. With credits and films from Marvels to DC Comics. I am here at Afro Animation, and really I'm here to support the movement and as well as do some networking. It's been an amazing event out here. I've had a chance to showcase some of my film and cinema, which has landed in some festivals. So it's really a good time getting a chance to see people that look like me that are in the industry versus not seeing that when I first got into the industry. But the biggest takeaway is continuing to show up. There is just that important to show up, because I don't think I would have made the kind of connections and got my work where it needed to be without showing up physically and meeting who I needed to. This is incredibly important because me coming up in what I did, I never saw people that looked like me doing visual effects and animation. In fact, when I started working on films like The Avengers, there was 300 people in the studio and only 4 of us were of color. And so I did not see us representing for many years. And so this is actually the first time in my whole career that I'm seeing this many of us together that are interested in the craft. And so for me, it's such an honor. I'm even taking some of the youth to be their mentors. I mean, it's lovely just seeing melanation in animation. Following me at Kwame Bracco Art on Instagram, which is KWAMEBRAKO.art on Instagram. Kwame Bracco Art on all socials.
Yeah, my name is Lance Darden. I'm a 3D animation director, visualization supervisor, and just all-around artist based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, I've worked on a number of projects. Some noteworthy ones would be Black Panther, Spider-Man Homecoming, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Loki, Blue Beetle, man, a lot of comic book related movies. I basically design action and fight choreography via 3D animation in the computer. It's called 3D visualization, and so I work really closely with directors to bring the script to reality, helping them with fight choreography, cinematography, and overall just helping them to bring their visuals to life. Oh man, it's been wonderful. So I'm also a sponsor this year for Afro Animation with my homies studio, Flare Nova. We're partnering together on that. And so I'm providing animation supervision for that. So what's been great is just to be a part of this community where I've just never been around this many talented artists of color that are in my field, in the field of animation. I didn't even know this existed until recently, and so we came out, we made sure that we were sponsors. We wanted to make sure that we created a space for artists to collaborate, get to know about different avenues of the industry and how they can be a part of it. And so just the sense of community has been just the best part. Just talking to so many different artists, finding out how small that circle was of people that I knew that knew somebody else that was in this part of this project that I really admired, and I was able to meet them here. So that's been incredible. It's definitely possible to do 3D without an understanding of 2D. I personally felt like it helped me. I started off traditionally drawing with pen and pencil, paint, color pencils, sketch pads, all of that. You know, I started traditionally doing life drawings. Really helped me in my 3D path because it helped me just understand form and silhouette. It helped me understand color theory. So for me, it was a benefit, especially starting off in 2D animation, understanding pose-to-pose animation in the traditional format. Interned with Disney back in, what was that, 03? Man, that was like over 20 years ago, dang. But that helped me have an understanding of how to translate into 3D, because I think the less 3D something feels, it's just a nice little vibe about that, versus things feeling so super realistic and photorealistic. I mean, that exists and some people prefer that, but I like things that feel stylized. I like things that feel more catered to 2D. So I like, you know, for example, Spiderverse. That was really inspirational to see that you can kind of merge the two mediums together. So I think having the understanding of 2D made that project possible. But it's not a prerequisite. You can go straight into 3D, but a lot of my inspirations came from Dragon Ball Z, from animes, from X-Men, you know, the original animated series back from the 90s. Those things kind of shaped my childhood, and so when I learned that I could do 3D but like add some of that aesthetic to it, to me it made my craft a little bit better. I've caught the first episode and I was blown away, man. The way that they just preserved the heart of it, man, you know, and I got to meet one of the directors who I was a fan of, Chase. I got to meet him tonight, and man, he was just so cool, and got to see his panel. And just once again, one of the benefits of being here is just seeing all these wonderful artists and directors being highlighted. And so I got to meet him after the panel, and we got to talk, and we found out how small our circle is, how his best friends, like really good friends of mine, and like, you know, just didn't know that. And so the fact that it was a young brother like that was involved in like taking this thing that I grew up on as a child, X-Men, and like revamping it, but keeping that like energy and that playfulness, and then like elevating it though, you know, so keeping that initial heritage of it, but like saying, oh, let's take it to the next level, and seeing like how cool they made Cyclops, man, how he was, you know, beaming and shooting all over the place. Like it was sick, man. It was really dope to see that.
X-Men 97 is definitely one of my favorite TV shows out right now, but if you get me started on that, we won't stop anytime soon. DeMille Bryant was chopping it up with Lance when I was introduced to both of them by Kwame Bracco, and he was kind enough to speak to us about Bento Box Entertainment, his role there, and in animation as a whole.
My name is DeMille Bryant. I am a storyboard director, animation director, and animation producer. Actually, I just found out about Afro Animation this week. It was just kind of popping up on IG, and I started seeing some familiar faces that were going to have some panels, and I was just blown away. This event is held right next door to the studio, so I literally just walked over here and was able to do both, get a little bit of work done, and then also enjoy and network here with everybody. This is probably one of the best events I've ever been to. LA is known for having really big, like Comic-Con and different kind of events. This has been great, man, just being able to see all the representation that is here. Just seeing us all in one place, very impactful, very powerful. Bento Box is amazing animation production house. They produce shows that you may know, like Bob's Burgers is probably the biggest show that they produce, but they are a production house that works on so many different productions. I've been at Bento Box for about 6 years. I've worked on maybe 4 shows since I've been at Bento Box. I started off working on Bob's Burgers, worked on Central Park, and I worked on Housebroken. I'm currently working on The Great North as an episodic director. Check out my work, support the shows that I'm currently working on. The Great North is a fun show. You can follow me on Instagram at DeMille Bryant, and you can also check out my website at DeMilleBryant.com. It has all the work that I've pretty much worked on for the last 13, 14 years.
The Afro Animation Summit is clearly a great source of information, networking, and community that is needed in the industry. I did my best to bring you along for the ride and provide a means to connect with and potentially collaborate with the creatives that I was able to speak with personally. When I started my journey to begin creating The Other Side of Paradise, not to be confused with The Other Side, I didn't have much of a support system or know many people I really felt comfortable enough with to approach with my project for advice, for guidance, or professional feedback. Even when it comes to how to draw black features, there is not a huge pool to pull from outside of maybe the Boondocks, Afro Samurai, and a few choice characters on major productions. I would like this channel to be a hub to get our experiences, provide education on all aspects of the industry, because as was mentioned at the beginning, animation is in a weird space. And if we want to continue to see great projects in film and animation actually come to light, we need to learn how to find talent, curate our own audiences, and even create our own studios. Because when we are forced to rely on major corporations for our representation, we actually relinquish the power of our creative genius to others who may not have us or our community's best interests at heart. My name is Tree, and if you would like to see more content like this, consider supporting this channel via Patreon, where I upload exclusive content, detailed tutorials, and get a chance to engage with the community on a more personal level about film, animation, music, and fashion. Visit blmtd.com if you are interested in some of my limited edition custom-made apparel, which is another way of me giving back to the community and a means to fund The Other Side of Paradise and Brilliance Animation Studios. Until next time, stay driven. Your journey is everything that you make of it.